Hey guys, and welcome back to Okami. Previously, we bested the Gale Shrine and the Crimson Helm, of course. So now well, it is a side quest part. Essentially, we're going to go around the world using the power of Kazegami. That's right, we're going to be using the power of the wind.
But before we leave the Gale Shrine, we get to hear a little bit about Yatsu, because actually Yatsu was Princess Fuse's husband before he passed away.
Oh. What happened to him? Does he say here?
I'm pretty sure... So, their role was to protect the Gale Shrine, and I think when the Crimson Helm took over it, basically, the Crimson Helm killed him.
Jesus, well, he didn't have a paintbrush for starters, so it was SOL there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you would have to be a god to take down the Crimson Helm, or have the help of a god.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was pretty buggered, but at least he managed to keep it locked away until we're able to get here to deal with it. But also, Princess Fuse is gonna train up the 5 K9 warriors who stayed, and that should prove somewhat important a little bit later on. Well, not majorly important, but it could prove to be a fun little side quest.
Oh, right.
Later down the line.
We got the life beads last time, I remember now.
Indeed, so we now have a more powerful rosary, which is amazing, and I love it.
When are we going to get our next weapon type? Because all I've seen is reflectors and rosaries so far.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because in the session of commentary recording that we are doing today, we will actually see the final weapon type. It won't get used, mind you, that's next time.
Okay.
But you will see the final weapon type coming up very soon.
Yeah, that's one thing I should probably address. There's only going to be 5 parts this week instead of 6. That's basically just something Richie suggested to make the story flow better, so don't be surprised if, well, there's not another video today, guys, just letting you know in advance. Although, there is a new playthrough starting today on YouTube, so you're going to get 2 videos instead of just 1, so it all works out in the end.
Exactly, and the thing is you've got to go fast to get through all of these parts anyway, so it's all good.
I like what you did there. I like what you did there. So, what's first on our agenda, mate? Are we just looking at beads? Okay, we're done with looking at beads now.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that I've got everything that I need to up to this point, because obviously I don't want to miss anything. I want to make sure that I can get everything that I can in one fell swoop. So if I'm missing anything, I'm just going, right, let's just make sure I've fed every animal, got everything I possibly can before I continue, because it's that type of thing where you've just got to be careful. Thankfully, you can't miss anything, but I'm just that OCD that I wanted to get it when I could.
You could be doing better on foxes.
I could be doing better on foxes, but you see, we haven't really seen that many of them.
No.
So, it happens. And I think, yeah, so there was 1 or 2 dogs that I hadn't fed, it seems. Specifically, I think...
Disgraceful.
Specifically, I think it was Tay. Hadn't fed him, but all the others were done. So, yeah, I was just like, oh my god, I'm missing a dog. Crud! And it turned out to be him.
They are the K9 warriors. You should treat them with a little bit of respect, even though technically they should be deferring to you, being a goddess and all.
Well, exactly, and also, you know, the whole thing of we just saved the village.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And also, we were chosen by the Satomi Power Orbs to do the deed of taking on the Crimson Helm.
I'm not sure which I like more, the original rosaries or the life beads here, because Army seems strangely naked with the way they circle around her.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, certain weapons will do that. Some of them are more overly designed, some of them are much more simple. It's just, it varies, I suppose, because there seems to be a bit more space around the life beads, that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
Because in pretty much all the artwork that you ever see of Army, she's got the reflectors, so you always tend to see something along her back.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Whereas with the rosaries, you don't get that, but I just love using the rosaries in battle, so it's all good.
I mean, the life beads, they really follow the sun motif. That's why I'm kind of digging him. I can't wait to see him in combat.
Well, pretty much they are the same as most rosaries, but all glorious. Now that we have Galestorm, we can get up here by standing on 2D carp things. I know I gave them a name in the last part, but I completely have forgotten what that name was.
It's fine. Carp things will do for now, and it's good to see you actually doing the wind motion successfully this time. There's one or two comments in the previous part was like, is it Richie or is it the Wii remote that's doing that?
Well, you see, it's a mixture of both, because you've got to get the drawing just right for it to react properly, and sometimes it just doesn't want to respond. It's bizarre. I honestly do not get it. I'm pretty sure it is something to do with the Wii version, because I think on the PS2 version, because you're using the stick, everything's much more specific.
Damn.
But, yeah, we're still bringing flowers to the world, no matter where we are.
Still getting praise. How much praise can you accumulate, do you know, over the course of one playthrough?
Whew. Well, I can tell you a lot.
Well, yeah, it goes without saying.
I'm just going to see if there's a... somewhere there's a figure. Right, so apparently you can get a total of 7,214 praise.
Is that from doing, like, everything?
That's doing everything in the game. You need 6,020 to upgrade everything. So you end up with quite a lot of praise left over, which is strange, but I suppose it means that you have a lot greater chance to... Like, you don't have to do everything to be able to upgrade everything.
Right, you can pick and choose what you want to do, essentially.
Exactly.
You've got leeway.
And I would say it's important to get as much praise as possible, because
True to
you
life
will...
as well.
Well, yes, but you will be ranked on how much praise you've earned at the end of the game.
Ah, okay, so there's an incentive to max out your praise.
I mean, so at the end of the game you'll get ranked on various things, i.e. how many times you've died, how many enemies you defeated, how much yen you've collected over the course of the game, how many demon fangs, how much praise, etc. So, pretty much you want to be getting as much as possible. It does also rank you on your time, but that's for a different thing altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is pretty easy to get an S rank, so the cherry blossoms.
Yeah, of course, sure.
On those, but you have just got to just plug away at it and make sure that you do as much as is humanly possible.
Okay. I don't think I'll ever get tired of the flowers sprouting wherever Army runs.
I know, I can never get tired of it, just because I just look at it and I'm just like, I just want to run around the world as much as possible, because it's just so wonderful to see.
God, how many of these stray beads are there again?
There are a grand total of 100 stray beads in the game.
Sweet baby Jesus.
There is a lot to collect in Okami.
Yeah, I think we've established that quite clearly and succinctly by now.
Yes, and now that we have Galestorm, you know there's all those leaves hanging about? We can now get rid of them and find dig spots and all sorts.
Nice.
So that's mostly what we're going to be dealing with from, well, during this part, is finding those leafy areas that just need a little bit of rummaging through.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's a chill part to start the week off on, but you know, we've still got banter and such, and you know something that was really bothering me before we started this part is like, you were mentioning Galestorm, and I was like, where have I heard that before? And it's like, oh right, The Simpsons, Bone Storm.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a video
You're going
game...
to need to explain this one.
There's a video game called Bone Storm that Bart really wants. He's like, buy me Bone Storm or go to hell.
Ah, was that in Hit and Run, or was that just Simpsons in general?
That's both Simpsons, the series, and Hit and Run, but I think it's like Bone Storm, the sequel, and Hit and Run. See, Volk would catch these references. Why isn't Volk doing the Okami playthrough of me, and then we turn to the alternate dimension version of the playthrough and Volk doesn't know what the fuck?
Well, you see, that this is what happens. You're dealing with the guy who doesn't actually really watch... Well, doesn't watch The Simpsons. Has watched a few episodes in the past, but not much. But spends most of his time going through Wikipedia pages trying to find out about Japanese mythology and folklore.
Well, perfect for this playthrough, I guess. There's a little topic we could discuss. Think back to past HSC playthroughs. Pick a playthrough and then change the co-commentator. How does it change how you view the playthrough?
Ooh. Well, I suppose if you shoved me into the Kingdom Hearts one, you'd end up with a slightly happier series, because obviously there's quite a lot of bitch moan throughout.
Well, there's cynicism on the part of Hell Dragon. I'm not the cynical one in those playthroughs, mate.
Yes. So that would change that one. I suppose I would be fascinated to see how the older Sonic games turned out with the current Sonic lineup, because obviously it's a very different dynamic. Obviously you've got 3 people instead of 2, but also just the style of humour and all that sort of stuff is very, very different.
Yeah, for sure. Not bad per se, and I know I'm bigging myself, flaming Richie up here, but you know, it is very different to when FTA and I did stuff, or when I worked with FTCR in general on like 3 and K, which was probably one of our best playthroughs, Sonic or otherwise, or like Advance 1, what else did we do? I've forgotten at this point, honestly.
Well, I mean, I suppose you end up doing that many playthroughs, well, both you on HellfireComms and me on my own channel, where you just go, what games have I done at this point?
Yeah.
And you just go, plummet. Like, when you look at the list, just like, you're either, oh my god, I've done loads, or you're just like, I thought I'd done more series than that, but no, I've just kind of stuck in the same little bubble.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to beat, like, Brain Scratchers total of playthroughs.
Oh god, no.
Just due to, like, the 9-month hiatus and various stuff like that. But, I'm happy with what we've got so far. That's why I've been trying to include stuff like Hit and Run and Okami and other games like that, just to spread it out a little bit. There'll always be Sonic, there'll always be, like, Mario and whatnot, but I want to dip me toes in other ponds, so to speak.
And I suppose also, by this point, HellfireComms has covered most of the major titles in those franchises, and therefore you reach the point where you kind of go, need to fan out a little bit more. But we've got to deal with Bingo right now, because Bingo is his name-o.
Okay. Woof.
And basically this is the digging minigame.
Oh, this one. I like this one.
These are quite fun, quite exciting, and more complicated than previously, because you end up with bits like that where he can walk into the spiked blocks and they're a pain. And the way that you get him over that is to use Galestorm to just fling him across.
This obviously wasn't a thing in the previous one, was it?
No, so in the previous one we only had stuff to do with Power Slash and Bloom, and I'm pretty sure this is the most complicated that they will get.
Doesn't seem too bad. It might be a little bit finicky, but otherwise doable.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one is slightly more complicated because if you dig down at the wrong point, then your run is basically finished.
Ah.
Because you've got to get Bingo all the way to the very end, like the far right of this area, and there are certain blocks which you physically will not be able to get across. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's a bit of a pain. I made quite the boob just there, but it's going to be fine because I'm going to get my brush techniques just back in time and I can Galestorm him over that gap.
Oh, you jammy git. That was like the very last second.
Yeah, it was ludicrously tight. But thankfully, it's now just a straight run to the end. It's just one of those, like, the time is really tight.
Oh, we're getting there. So I wasn't paying attention. Is it just water again we're looking for?
No, this time it's treasure.
Ah, okay. That's the cause I can get behind.
Yes, so he's a treasure hunter, so, and he's got, obviously, the Magatama, which he uses to guide him towards the treasure. And, yeah, I'd say that's arguably one of the more difficult, ones of those. If only because it's so incredibly easy to screw yourself over.
Right.
Because if you dig to the bottom too quickly, then your run's over, you're going to have to restart it. But either way, it's all good because we get a little something out of this.
Better be good.
Pretty sure it's something like a sun fragment or a stray bead. It's that sort. There we go, sun fragment.
And that's basically like a heart piece, am I right?
Yeah. So those are the heart pieces in the game, which are always really nice to get. And we still can't dig into this bloody thing. We will get there eventually.
There's like a golden axe or a golden bug net in there. I want it.
I mean, no, it's so frustrating because it's just like, it's just there.
Speaking of, I wonder how they're going to do Animal Crossing on the Switch, because it's going to be, you know, it's going to be a console experience, but it's also available on a handheld. So you've got like New Leaf, you've got like, what was it, City Folk or something? I honestly didn't play any of the Wii games. I am a GameCube original or N64 original, if you want to get pedantic, and also New Leaf fanboy. New Leaf was fucking solid as hell.
I heard very good things about New Leaf, and also I always find it hilarious that I'm pretty sure City Folk in the European release was called Let's Go to the City.
Yes, yeah.
Or something ludicrous like that, and it's just like, why don't you just call it City Folk?
Let's take a trip into town today.
Now, I was having fun with this, because as you can see by the incredibly subtle, not very subtle at all, crossfade, because this is just a horrible set of jumps to make, because obviously it's so easy to just fall through the gaps between the pieces of fabric.
Well, you see, it seemed like you did it fine to me, mate.
Yeah, I got there in the end. It took quite a few tries, and I think it was just like, this is just ludicrous, I'm just going to crossfade that one, because no, I'm pretty sure I was there for at least a couple of minutes.
Oh, so beautiful.
Anybody who's thinking, this is just a really slow part, don't worry, it's going to pick up, because we are going into very, very, very important plot territory very soon.
Did you just say important?
I did just say important, because I think my brain was going, you've got plot coming up, so it just sort of shoved plot into important, so it ended up as important.
Important lore, amazing!
You see, it was intentional all along, clearly.
The best portmanteaus are always unintentional, my friend. I wouldn't worry about it. You obtained vase. It's just a random vase. I don't know why someone would bury a random vase in a much fancier chest, but there you go. That's the world of Okami for you.
Yeah, not much of this makes sense. Especially because, like, why would you, like, dig a hole for those chests?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, what is the point? And why are these littered all over the world? Like, there's a ludicrous number of chests for how many people live here.
Yeah. You should keep it to a strict one chest per person limit, really.
Exactly, because ultimately it seems like all these chests are just here for us, which is fine by me. But it's just like, why? Who dug these things?
You raised a good point. Maybe they were for Ami. Like,
this is true.
Who was the god of the sun before Amaterasu came around? Because there must have been another version.
No, Ami has always been the god or the deity of the sun. Obviously, if we're going with Japanese mythology, she came from Izanagi. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't quite work in the Okami narrative, really. Because it's just not how it goes. And I thought, whilst we're here, let's go do a little bit of fishing, because why not? It's mostly also because in my head I was just going, I've got a ridiculously... I've got a lot of fish to catch, and that's just gonna just be a massive pain to do later on. So I'll try and catch some now, and then that means I've got less to do later.
I got you, mate. I got you. It means spending time with Kakari, but at least he's started to go through his arc now, and he'll be a bit less of a crybaby.
Yes, which is good, because otherwise it'd just be really, really frustrating.
Oh, that's a big one.
That is indeed a big one, as you can see by how small the decent fishing pull is. The more difficult fish in this game are actually really quite hard to catch.
Goes without saying, really, mate.
Obviously, but like, because you've got to stay in that green bit to succeed, and they churn so much that you often just get flung into the you're not pulling at all section, and just nightmare.
God, it reminds me how I couldn't even get the Hylian Loach to like bite on the lure. That was stupidly annoying at the time.
I'm pretty sure I slightly cheated with the Hylian Loach in Twilight Princess when I played the HD version, because there's a cave somewhere which has got a whole load of Hylian Loaches, but they're tiny.
Oh right, yeah, those don't count, mate. You caught the babies.
It classified it as a Hylian Loach. I don't care if it's not the Hylian Loach. It classified them, I've got it in the thing, therefore I caught all the fish.
No, you didn't, mate. They're classified separately by the game, so you've been lied to all these years. Lying to yourself, no less.
Whatever.
So who is this big frigger, anyway?
Well, I have to say, I wasn't exactly looking when we pulled him out of the water the first time, which is really bad.
Yeah, well...
I was too busy going, oh god, Hylian Loach. But we'll catch him. Like, the determination is paramount here, because you can just see I'm just like, I'm not giving up.
Yeah, there's that good old-fashioned X-Gamer Richie stubborn streak right there.
Exactly, there we go. So it's this frigger. And yeah, we have to hit him 3 times rather than 2, because he's a really difficult to catch fish.
Seemed a bit like a bass to me.
I think that's probably quite accurate. We'll get the name of the thing any second now.
Let's have a look. Is Ed Tom right? Oh.
Oh, it's a huchin.
The fuck is a huchin? Did you just make that up?
No, I'm pretty sure that is it is a type of fish, because all of these are proper types of fish. So it's a large species of freshwater fish in the salmon family. So it can be found in the Danube basin in Europe. But yeah, it's a weirdo one.
Just an offshoot of salmon would have sufficed, really. That looks like a barracuda to me.
That is just a regular salmon.
Oh, for fuck's sake! It's all salmon today.
Well, considering that's what the giant salmon looked like, makes sense that that's just the regular salmon.
I suppose. So we done with fishing for the time being, then?
We are indeed done with fishing for the time being, because
good.
That was more than enough fishing for a lifetime, I feel.
Okay, what's next, mate?
So next, we're just gonna mosey on through the rest of Agatha Forest, because we've got a few other bits with the leaves to sort out, I feel. And then we're heading back into Shinshu Fields.
Okay. You keep teasing me with going near battles, but not actually getting in battles. I want to see the life beads in action.
Well, you see, it's because we've not really reached a point where there's any important battles going on. They will happen. Don't worry, they will definitely happen. But, just not right now. Like, I will tell you now, we're going to go through, I'm pretty sure, an entire dungeon with the life bead, so you will see more than enough combat with the damn things.
Nice. And Tom likey.
But obviously we're dealing with a bit of the game where we don't really need to... Well, you don't really need to fight, but I kind of just want to make sure that I've got more Demon Fangs, more Yen, that sort of stuff. Because if you go... Like, the interesting thing about the battles in Okami, like on the overworld anyway, is that... Obviously, you don't level up from them because you don't get any praise or whatever.
Right.
The only reason that you would ever go into a battle is for Demon Fangs or Yen, or because you get caught by them. So, it's an interesting one because ultimately they don't really matter, but they can prove to be very, very useful, and particularly if you want to get the total number of demons killed to get you the S rank and the Demon Fangs, you are going to want to run and fight as much as possible. But yeah, things are getting a little bit dark over Shinshu Field.
Well, if the music didn't give it away, the skies sure do, because I'm pretty sure when it starts to rain in England, the sky hasn't turned purple.
Yeah, I think things are getting quite serious right now.
It seems like Orochi is getting restless.
So I think all we need to do now is just pick up one more or two more chests, and then we will head straight to Shinshu Field. Not to Shinshu Field, to Kamiki Village. My god. We're already in Shinshu Field. My brain.
Yeah, you gotta be watching the screen while we do the playthroughs, mate. Number one rule of doing a Let's Play, look at what you're Let's Playing.
I mean, yes, that is generally always the smart thing, but, says, when have I ever done that?
Well, no, actually, rule one is turn Audacity on, or make sure you're recording footage. That's a big one, guys.
Indeed.
So is that it? We about done now?
Yes, I believe it is. We're just going to head straight into Kamiki Village and see what's going on.
Oh, Jesus, I can hardly contain my excitement. I can. I'm going to wait until the next part to see what's what, but, oh, God. Very tense right now, Jesus. Yeah, I'm not liking the look of this, but you guys will have to wait until next upload day to see what's what. See you then.